Welcome back, everybody, to my YouTube channel. If you're just joining for the first time, I say thank you so much for joining. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please click on the subscribe button and sign up. And don't forget to click on the alarm button as well so that it can alert you when I drop new videos. So welcome back. And thank you so much for watching wherever you are in the part of the world. Like I always say, this is a rough cut. I embarked on this just to get comfortable with talking to myself. Talking to myself on YouTube and recording and sharing my knowledge and perhaps what I've read, what I've experienced in my journey as a Scrum Master and as an Agile coach. So today, what are we talking about? Someone sent me a question via LinkedIn, and thank you for the question. I always welcome questions. Last week, I talked about sprint retrospective, because someone sent me a question asking how they should handle someone who is a title person. They are, I think, a VP of that organization, and they attend and always disrupting the sprint retrospective. If you haven't had a chance to look at that, please do go back and look at it, because retrospective is the most, in my opinion, one of the most important Scrum events. Anyway, so this person sent me a question on LinkedIn, and as these, they had attended one of the Scrum Alliance CSM workshop that I ran with someone else. Just so you know, I do run Scrum Alliance CSM certifications, most especially the if you want to become a Scrum Master. So I'm on my journey to become a Scrum trainer with Scrum Alliance. So I often partner with current certified Scrum trainers so I can learn from them. You never stop learning, right? Do you? So the person attended the class some weeks ago. I didn't even remember that they attended, but hey, they attended. They got their CSM certification, and they got a job as well, right? I was super excited when I got their message on LinkedIn. It was going to be their first Scrum Master role, and they were asking me what a Scrum Master needs to know, right? I think what was it? What advice? So here's the exact question. As a new Scrum Master, do you have any advice for me? What templates are there to report team progress to the upper management, and any other informational goal setting? Which is a fantastic question, or questions for a new Scrum Master to ask. And I thought this, let me just do a recording around this. All right. Let me do a recording, share it with people, because very often I have new Scrum Masters or aspiring Scrum Masters asking me, what does a Scrum Master do? What should a Scrum Master do at the first 90 days? Is there a checklist that I have to go through? All sort of questions. And it's typical to ask those questions if you are new to a role, you're new to an organization, you're new to a team. It can be very daunting, right? So, in your own opinion, because I always want to throw a question to my audience, in your own opinion, what do you think a Scrum Master in their first role should do? So put your comment below. I love to read comments and respond to them when I can, but I always get back to the comments in the chat. So what does a new Scrum Master need to do? Let's break it down. Your first day it's going to be a very tricky one. We're still trying to get back to work. Some people, organizations are completely remote. I remember when I had to start a new role during pandemic, the laptop was shipped to my home address. I didn't meet anyone. There was one where, because I was doing contracting back then, there was one of the contract role whereby no one even remembered me for a whole week. And I didn't know what to reach out to apart from the person that hired me and said, "Oh, don't worry, it's okay. I would help you to settle in." And then they went on vacation. Anyway, and there was another one which I couldn't get my laptop to work for it all week. So sometimes these things happen. Don't panic. Try as much as possible to reach out to someone. Check in with them every day. Say, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm still here trying to get connected with other people." Because in some cases, it's not every time that you to a team. So you sometimes have to wait. You sometimes have to shadow another Scrum Master within the organization so that you know the ropes. So that's another thing. No matter how experienced you are or not as a Scrum Master, organizations want you to know how they work, right? So you will often observe or shadow a team or a Scrum Master. So you learn. Typically, it's sprints, so 2 weeks or 2 sprints, depending on the policies or culture of that organization. So your first day, I don't always worry about the first day. If everything goes well, that's fine. If it doesn't, hey, there's always the next day. So your first day went smoothly. You've been assigned a team, or you are observing a team and a Scrum Master. Ask questions. Maybe not in that meeting because you don't want to disrupt a meeting, but schedule some time, getting to know your meetings, schedule some time with those team members. How does it work for them? I have questions, and I'm going to put in the description some of the checklist, and I put in a checklist in quote because it's just a checklist. You don't want to kind of like be using it and crossing things along, but you just want to have it at the back of your mind that, hey, here are some of the questions that I can ask where applicable. So ask them questions. What is their backlog like, especially the product owner? How do you ensure that you are consistent with what you do? What are the methods in which you estimate stories? How do you pull in stories? What happens in your sprint? How does the team arrive at consensus? You know, those kinds of questions you are asking people. Obviously, you want to get to know them, but while getting to know them, you want to know how the team works as well, because a team is a system. So get interested in what people do the first 2 weeks of your time by scheduling a get to know you sessions with them. And make sure you speak to your line manager or whoever has hired you if you're a contractor. What are the expectations? What are the goals? What do you want me to have accomplished as a Scrum Master in the next 30 days? Yes, you're working with a team, and the team comes first, but at the same time, you want to have your own goals as well. As a Scrum Master, it can be very hard to visualize what you do, right? Because you take things back to the team, you look at the team maturity and say, what do they need help with? And if the team is not ready, there is nothing you can do about it. You just have to wait till they're ready. But while you're waiting for them to be ready, what are the things, subtle things that you can use to kind of like influence or guide them towards that readiness? All right. But most importantly, how would you know when your team is ready? How do you know? And that will be another topic for another video that I might just do, because you need to know. You don't want to push them, but I'm using pushing loosely, but you don't want to take them to the next step when they're not ready. You're setting them up for failure. So your first 2 weeks is understanding the team dynamic, understanding the organization, connecting with the people. You cannot support people that you do not know. And if you do not know them, they're not going to be welcoming to you as well, right? They're not going to invite you into their world, into their space for you to understand them. Don't be too hurried to know the business. Get to know the people first. Some people would say, well, I'm not a technical person. I don't even know what they're building. What they're building would come naturally because you're observing them and you're meeting with them regularly to ask for their pain points. So that would come. And because as a Scrum Master, you support the PO as well, meet with the PO, look at the roadmaps, look at the product backlog. Is it looking healthy or not? So when you start to support the product owner on that side, you will understand what the product is and what they're building. So now you've completed your 2 weeks at the organization, you've met everyone that you need to meet, or you meet the most important people that you need to meet, and those are the people that you're going to be working with. You can start to expand into the organization and finding friends of your team. Who do you need to speak to if the team is not able to handle the impediments that they find themselves, right? So you start to expand. And this is where your role, according to the Scrum Guide, which says service to the organization. So you're extending that service to the organization by connecting with people outside of the team and understanding what they do, what they bring to the table for the team, and how they support the team if they do, and how can the team, come to them if they do need help. So the next 2 weeks, you're doing that, and not in any particular order. You are also meeting your team, you are members, you're working with a product owner, and getting to understand the culture of the organization. So some people will say, what are the tools I need to learn? I have to pause there, because tools are not that important. Yes, you need to learn some tools, but you first need to get to meet people and know them. I would suggest that be familiar with tools, tracking tools like Jira, Kanban, Azure DevOps. Those are tracking tools, but don't let not knowing how to use those tools get in the way of you being you. And what do I mean by that? Some people get so hung up on, I need to know Jira, that they forget about facilitating a great conversation or facilitating a productive meeting, or even knowing that they need to understand how to influence people, right? 80% of the time, you're communicating, you're facilitating, you're supporting, you're removing impediments. And honestly, maybe 2% of your time, you're looking at the Jira board and trying to interpret it. If you don't understand what Scrum is, if you don't understand how people work, your Jira knowledge is just going to go to waste. So take, for instance, you look, and I'm using Jira, and I'm going to use any tracking tools. You look at the Bundan chat of a tracking tool, you've downloaded it, but you don't know how to interpret it. So first, you need to understand what a burn down chart is. What is it used for? What story is it telling you? And interpreting it before you can even look at those tracking tools, downloading it, right? So don't let tools get in your way. It would come to you by you practicing. So part of your time spending, which you spend in getting to understand the cultural dynamics and everything else of the team, you are looking at those tools that they use within the team. You don't have to kind of like go outside of the team to look for that. Just focus on what the team is. And most of those tracking tools have similar features. So by the time you know one, you probably would easily get to understand a new one that you find yourself using. So what are some of the techniques that a Scrum Master should have in their toolbox? There are quite a few, actually. But you don't want to use your team as an experiment of trying tools, techniques out every time. Yes, you need to be able to do that. But your team might get a little bit confused when you are trying all the tools and techniques with them. So I would say practice your tools and practice your techniques in a safe environment. So you attend a community of practice, you attend a meetup, you speak. That helps you to hone your skills. But what are the techniques? There are quite a few. But know how to facilitate. Know a lot of facilitating techniques. And if you want to know more about facilitation skills, I run a IC Agile team facilitation where you get certified in that. And in that training, I use liberating structures, training from the back of the room, and open space, and some other facilitation techniques that you might use. And when you own your facilitation skills, you are able to handle situations that arises as they present themselves. So for instance, someone is not talking in a meeting. What do you do as a Scrum Master? Right? You need to know how to do that. Someone is taking over the meeting and they're not allowing others to speak. What do? You're not going to tell them, all right, that's enough. That's enough. Let's move on to the next person. Are you? There are different techniques that you need to have in your place to be diplomatic. And I would say it even boils down to you knowing that person, that maybe they talk a lot or maybe they're very quiet. So you would, as a great Scrum Master, would have had some conversation with them before the meeting to let them understand, hey, here are the goals of this meeting. Here is going to be the agenda. And here are the outcomes, whatever you use. So that's another thing, great communication and being able to influence people. Some of the tools or techniques that a Scrum Master has. Templates, I don't believe in templates, to be honest. So, which means that you're just going by the templates. You're not being creative. You're not looking at your team and what you are observing, what you're noticing that is happening within your team. You just want to complete a template that's been handed over to you. And I know some organizations or some areas of work would require you to complete certain forms or certain templates. But as a Scrum Master, I would not suggest you create a template. And that said, there are some templates for things like retrospectives, right? The sprint retro, where in Miro or future retrospect or those kind of things, they already created those things. But that is, I think those are not templates. They're containers to help you make your retrospective a great one. And you can always adapt them, right? So I can't think of any templates that I would suggest to a new Scrum Master to have. How do you report team progress to the upper management? Honestly, it is what they ask for. And it's so funny because I can't remember the last time I had to create a report for the upper management. But I remember working with an organization some years ago when I just arrived in Canada. And it was all about, here are the PowerPoints, and every sprint we had to complete that as a Scrum Master. And it got to a point I'm thinking, this is what I focus on every day. And I don't do anything else apart from completing this report. Anyway, so every day there are things that we have to report about the team's progress, deliver of value. And bear in mind that the team might not deliver an increment every day, but you expect them, but then they don't deliver every day. And the sprint is what you're looking, end of sprint is what you're looking towards. But anyway, so they would ask for Bundan chat, an update on the Bundan chat every day. What is it looking like? And if it's not falling down, it's always a question about, oh yeah, what is happening here? The team is not working, or they didn't come to work. And I would often get a call to say, tell me what happened. And then the end of sprint is another form of report, the Bundan chat, the throughputs, and all those things, CFD, that we have to complete. And then at the sprint review, is presented to the people, the directors that attended, but also someone compiles everything and then send it to some people that I wasn't aware of. And you kind of like ask questions. So how does this help? This is micromanaging in disguise, right? I understand metrics are important, but when reports get in the way of what you do, then you probably need to revisit that kind of a culture. I would say that whatever the team, the upper management wants to know will be what you would present to them. And life is so easy now. Back in the days, we would have to draw up and calculate it manually, but now those tracking tools does it easily for you. You just need to print things out. And another way is to do a dashboard for those people that are asking for report. Do a dashboard. They probably have access to those tracking tools anyway. So create a dashboard for them, send the link, and say, and beforehand, help them understand what they're looking at. So you can interpret it for, explain it to them. So if you see this, this is what it means. If you see this, this is what it means. And that way they have control, or they take charge of what they want to see. And if they have any questions, they can always come back to you, isn't it? So that is one way of helping people to become less dependent on you. And any information on goal setting, I would say look at your objectives if you're working as a full-time, and if you're a contractor, again, why are you there? What do you hope to contribute to the growth of the team? Some people I've heard will say that a Scrum Master goes into an organization, works with a team, and the goal is that they make themselves redundant as a Scrum Master. And you might think, what? I make myself redundant? That means I don't have a job? Oh, no. When the team doesn't need you anymore, it means that they've actually grown, they've matured in terms of assessment, agility assessments that the organization might have set up for them. And then you move on to the next team, and then you move on to the next team to help them grow. So you're not making yourself to lose your job, but you're making yourself in such a way that the team can run without you. But I know some Scrum Masters are not comfortable with that because they feel that when they don't have something to do, they're going to be asked to leave. I wrote a blog on around that on what a Scrum Master could be doing, and it's tied to the fear of saying not doing anything. And I'm going to put the link in the chat if you are interested in reading it. It's a good read. What can a Scrum Master be doing? So for a new Scrum Master, I say create a coaching backlog. So and make it visible, right? Have a coaching backlog. What are you helping the team with? You put it in a backlog. What does the team else ask you to help with, right? Because it goes both ways, So good luck with your new role. It is always great to connect with new Scrum Masters. And there are tons of skills. I said tons of skills. There are, I'm not even sure what to say right now, but it's an interesting role. I love what I do as a Scrum Master. I love what I do as an Agile coach. I like to connect with people where I can and just support them. I'm also a coach, a professional coach. So my goal is to help people to uncover those hidden abilities that they need or where they're even doubting themselves. So be a Scrum Master, not a task master. It is you supporting the team and not you telling them what to do. If they're not ready to take that step, model the behavior you want to see, right? And not embark on, the Scrum guy says, that used to be something I did back in the days. This was a long time ago. But I still say the Scrum guys say something, and that's when I'm teaching people in the class and they have to pass the exam. So I would often refer to what the Scrum guy says. But outside of that, the Scrum guide is just a guide. Get to know your team, get to know the organization, get to know what they're building, and you will have fun while working. All right. And that is it. If you have any other questions, please send them to me. I always get excited when people send me questions because that way I have a reason to do a recording. Remember, I am doing this recording to get comfortable talking about the topics I like the most. So if you send me questions, it even gives me the reason to do more. And I might just increase this from one recording, one video a week to 2 recordings a week. And if you're not following me yet, so if you haven't, what is it that they say? If you haven't subscribed, that's the word. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click it now and subscribe and hit the alarm button so that you can be alerted when I drop a new video. And please comment. It keeps me happy when you write comments and I can read it and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do a next recording now because people are watching and finding it useful. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I appreciate you. Please let other people know about my channel, and I look forward to doing another recording next week. Bye for now.